We end today's show remembering the life of Standing Rock Sioux historian LaDonna Brave Bull Allard. She died Saturday at the age of 64 from brain cancer. In 2016, she helped start the Sacred Stone Camp on her family's property in North Dakota. People from around the world traveled to Standing Rock Reservation, what became one of the largest gatherings of Indigenous people in a century. I first spoke to LaDonna at Standing Rock in September 2016 along the Cannonball River on her property just hours before the Dakota Access Pipeline Company unleashed dogs and pepper spray on Native Americans seeking to protect a sacred tribal burial site from destruction.
My name is LaDonna Brave Bull Allard. My real name is Tamakawa, her good earth woman. I am Ihunktawa, Hunkpatina, and Pabaska, Dakota. On my father's side, I am Hunkpapa, Sihasapa, and Ogwala, Lakota on my mother's side. When they told us that they were putting this pipeline in, but refusing to acknowledge us, if you look at the Dakota Access maps, they don't even acknowledge our nation. We are not black. We're not blacked out like some people make maps and they do the reservation boundaries. We're not even in there. They said they did not have to consult with us. That pipeline is 500 feet from our reservation line. When that pipeline breaks, and it will break, it will hit early Head Start children in 2 seconds. It will take out our elementary in 5 seconds. In 45 minutes, it'll take out our major water intake that feeds water to all the people here. I don't understand why we are expendable in America. I keep telling people, we do our best. We have always been here. This is our land. Why should we fight to live in our own land? Why should we have to do that over and over again? We start our lives, we do our best to live. Why? I would never hurt anybody. I have always done my best to do good things in my community. Why can't they just let us live? We love this land. And half of the time I feel bad because they make us feel bad for loving this land. But most importantly, we love the water. Every year our people sacrifice. We go 4 days without drinking water so that it reminds us how important this water is. And I ask everybody, do you go with 4 days without water? What happens to your body on that third day? Your body starts shutting down. So we remind ourselves every day how important. We say mini wiconi, water of life. Every time we drink water, we say mini wiconi, water of life. We cannot live without water. So I don't understand why America doesn't understand how important water is. So we have no choice, we have to stand. No matter what happens, we have to stand to save the water.
That's LaDonna Brave Bull Allard. We spoke to her on her property at the Sacred Stone Camp in September, Labor Day weekend of 2016. A few weeks later, she visited Democracy Now! Studios here in New York. While she was here to speak at the United Nations, Juan Gonzalez and I interviewed her.
I told Dakota Access that if I'm the only person standing, I'm standing. They will not build this pipeline. I have personal reasons, though, you know. My son is buried there, and I'm just a mom. But in my mind, I can't conceive anybody to build a pipeline next to my son's grave. So like I tell everybody, it's not some grandiose save the world. It's just a mom. So that's just on my personal side. But did you see where I live? Oh my God, it is so beautiful. I mean, every day the buffalo are out there, the eagles are out there. I love my river.
Were you surprised by the enormous response that occurred to the encampment from Native peoples around the country and around the hemisphere, really?
Overwhelming, shocking, amazing. That tells me that world thought needs to change now. That tells me that people are saying no more. You know, how it is to live our lives, we spend a lot of time with people saying, we're this, we're that, we can't do this. We live in a world of extreme racism where we exist. And I think we're at the point now where it's just no more.
On September 3rd, after we interviewed you at your camp that's on your property, the Sacred Stone Camp, we went over beyond the resistance camps because hundreds of Native Americans were going to plant their tribal flags in an area where the pipeline was being built. They didn't think it was being built that day. It was Labor Day weekend, but in a ceremony to take that stand. But when they got there, they saw the bulldozers in action, bulldozing the very sites that your tribe, that the Sacred Stone, that the Standing Rock Sioux tribe had designated, had said was burial grounds and sacred sites. I wanted to go to that moment and ask you about what happened after that. The security guards working for the Dakota Access pipeline company, attacking the Native Americans with pepper spray and with their dogs.
This guy maced me in the face. Look, it's all over my sunglasses. Just maced me in the face.
These people were threatening all of us with these dogs. And that woman over there, she was charging them and it bit somebody right in the face.
The dog has blood in its nose and its mouth.
And she's still standing here threatening you.
Why are you letting her dog go after the protesters? It's covered in blood.
Over there with that dog. I was like walking, throw the dog on me straight, even without any warning, you know. Look at this. Look at this.
The dog,
yeah, the dog did it, you know. Look at this. There.
So there we see the dog's nose and mouth dripping with blood, and they're attacking the protesters. LaDonna Brave Bull Allard, you were there as well.
Yes, we had got there. Let me back up first. You know, just 2 days before, we marked all those burials and sacred sites, and then we submitted them to the judge. And the judge notified Dakota Access. So when they stopped construction 40 miles away and drove up to take out those burial sites, it was absolutely shocking for us. You know, when I got up there, you know, I remember my friend, she was just crying, and I was like, I couldn't believe they were doing that. And so people were hollering, and that man had just pepper sprayed everybody, and I was just like, oh my God, what is happening here? And I remember the dogs and stuff. That big gray-headed dog was on this side, and that woman was singing dogs on this side. And I was standing in the middle there, and I was like, what do I do? And so I closed my eyes and just started praying. I just stood there and prayed. And I thought, where am I? Is this America? Is this really happening? And I opened my eyes, and the people were getting in their trucks. I had no idea at that time the horses were coming to protect us from behind us. And as I stood there, I think it's still very shocking to me because people were hollering and people were crying, and these guys finally started to get their dogs and put them into their vehicles, and the dogs tried to bite their owners. It was just chaos. And so they finally started leaving. And I looked at that ground, and I was like, oh my God, who does this? Who comes and just digs up those graves? It's almost inhuman to me. I don't understand it. I can't understand it.
And so the point, I think it's important to underscore that you had already provided to the court the list of the burial sites that you thought were sacred sites that should be preserved, and the company, before the judge can even render a ruling, then goes in on the weekend to destroy those very sites.
Yes. And that's what I keep on telling people is why are these people out there protesting? It's because of these things. It's because of what's actually happening out there on the ground. I tell people that this is not about just this pipeline. It's about the water. It's about the water. It's about having the right to live our lives. It's about being able to make sure my grandchildren has clean water. To me, it's just like common sense. And so we must stop this.
How long will these resistance camps continue?
We're in a process of healing. I don't think it's going to end. We have only just begun. We are fulfilling prophecy now. The prophecies our people told 100 years ago are coming to pass. I see them before my eyes. Nothing is going to go back. We can only change. My whole idea is to have the world change their worldview, that maybe we can live with the earth instead of destroying the earth. And I'm hoping that all people can get that message.